Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. In just a moment, I'm going to be walking my happy butt out the door to check out the new action comedy, Novocaine. Novocaine is directed by Dan Burke and Robert Olson. It's starring Jack Quaid and Amber Midthunder. This tells the story of a man with a very rare condition. He cannot feel pain. And when the woman of his dreams is kidnapped by bank robbers, he is going to use that strange condition to find her and hunt down these bank robbers. Guys, this looks like one of those action films where it's the person with a secret, some kind of weird secret, like they're secretly a super spy, or like in the movie Nobody, where he was some kind of government fixer, where all of a sudden something happens and they have to show their special side. But in this case, it's just that the guy can't feel pain. So it looks like this is going to be one crazy, brutally violent action comedy. And you know what, guys? I have been watching a lot of metaphorical horror lately. So in all honesty, I'm looking forward to watching a movie that might just be, fluff and fun. So it's enough of me sitting here yammering on. It's time for me to get out the door because I need to go check out Novocaine. Welcome back. Just getting home from Novocaine, and guys, I did enjoy this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. So let's get this started, shall we? We're going to get things started with negatives, then move into the positives to end the video on the ever so important high note. The first thing I want to talk about is the pacing of this film. Now, this movie has a runtime of about 1 hour and 50 minutes. So almost 2 hours of this movie, and in all honesty, guys, it does get draggy in some parts of this movie. This film does pretty well start off great. The pacing is awesome. I like the way they set up our characters, the story, and everything. And then it just kind of goes from like one set piece to another set piece. There are good transitions in all 4 of those moments. It's not like it's some kind of SNL sketch or something. It's just that we have ourselves an action sequence, and then we have a little story building. Then we have an action sequence, and we have a little story building. And it just kind of made the movie feel kind of slow in moments, because you'll have this really fun little scene where you have 2 guys just beating the ever-living crap out of each other, and then you go to some guys like, hey, where's old Tom at? What's taking Tom so long? What's going on here? And it just seemed like parts like that just really slowed this movie down. And in all honesty, guys, I really feel like there could have been some runtime shaved off of this movie. And also, their film tries to throw in a little twist. And let me tell you guys, it doesn't ruin the movie. It was just kind of predictable. It does it fairly soon in the movie. It kind of shows its cards pretty quickly. It doesn't ruin anything, but it does feel kind of tacked on. And it made me wonder if maybe, just maybe, this film had a different ending at one point in time, and they decided to change something somewhere. Again, this does not ruin the film. It's just something that I noticed, and I think that they could have just maybe not done the twist-a-rooney in this. Again, it doesn't ruin the film. It's slightly predictable, but it's also something that, and unfortunately, I kind of rolled my eyes at it a little bit. Now, that being said, this film is highly entertaining, and I had a blast with it. So let's move into the positives. The first thing I want to talk about is just Jack Quaid, because honestly, guys, he was a blast in this film. Now, Amber Midthunder is pretty cool also. She does a really good job in this movie also, but she just doesn't have as much screen time as Jack Quaid, and really, he is our main focus of this film. This movie is really relying heavily on him as an actor and his character character. His character is a lot of fun. He's very similar to characters that we have seen Jack Quaid play in the past personality-wise. He's a very meek, soft-spoken person, but when he needs to, he does speak his mind and start going to the mattresses, you might say. So very similar to other characters that Jack Quaid has played in the past. But what I really liked about this was, I feel like Jack Quaid is kind of starting to get into the feature-length films all of a sudden, and it's nice to see him trying to take on some challenging roles. Something a little bit different than just, romantic comedies or something, some kind of period piece or something so you can show off those dramatic chops. It's just nice that he's, starting his career off in film with fun movies that are also a little bit on the challenging side. Maybe not in the challenging side in this one. The whole purpose of this movie is for his character just to stay alive, but his character is charming and fun, and you're really rooting for him for the entire runtime of this film. The character journey that he goes on is a really fun journey. It's a very eye-opening experience for this character. He lives in a world where he is always trying to protect himself because he can't feel pain. So he has to be very cautious about every little thing he does in life. So he's lived this very sheltered life. So he plays a character that gets out there and starts changing and developing and learning a little bit about himself. And, maybe he could take a few chances out there every so often. I really enjoyed the chemistry between our two main leads also. Amber Midthunder and Jack Quaid both play off of each other really well. At the very beginning of this film, when I was saying that the pacing really felt like it was going to be really moving along quickly, they do a really great job of establishing these two characters and building the chemistry between the two of them and giving some substance to what was about to happen. So it doesn't just seem like, oh, I just met this girl one night and she got kidnapped, I'm going to go save her. The film does a really good job of building a relationship between these two characters very quickly, making you root for them to the very end. So in all, guys, what I have to say about this movie is it is a solid, fun, little action film. It's not going to set the world on fire. It has some really great special effects also. The makeup and the practical effects do look really solid in this film. There is, like I've said, some very brutal, bloody, beat-down moments in this, and the makeup department did an excellent job. There is a little bit of CGI blood, but it's not that bad or overwhelming, and it doesn't ruin anything or take you out of the moment or anything like that. So all in all, it does deliver a fairly fun film. I just wish they could have tightened this up to that good old-fashioned 90-minute runtime. Because believe me, folks, when you get to see this movie, when you get to the third act, it just feels like it doesn't want to stop. This film just kind of keeps going. But other than that, I would say this is a solid get out there and check this movie out in theaters. Now, this movie is not coming out this weekend. It's not due out in theaters until March, I believe, 14th. Yes, next Friday, this movie is being released, March 14th. I got lucky. I was able to go see an early screening of this film. So get out there, check this movie out because it was a lot of fun. Alright guys, well that's all I have for you today. Thanks again for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna...